Want to know why Sonic Team chose Hoobastank to sing the main theme for Sonic Forces? Hint, it's not because both Crush 40 and Zebrahead were too busy, and no, it's not also because Sonic said "Hooba Dooba" every other sentence. You might be surprised when you learn it was actually a well-calculated tactical move by Sonic Team to push an agenda so airtight and well-made that it might wake you up from the dream that you're in right now, making you realize that we're all just in the Matrix and that existence as we know it doesn't matter. Or you might just say, oh wow. But first, you'll have to look deep into the details. And by deep, I mean smack in the middle of Hoobastank's logo. Hello, I'm your host, Sir Nistro, commander of the Robotnik unit, and before we begin, I have to give you guys a warning. Being edgy can be harmful to not only you, but to those around you. Because of that, we'll have to be careful when traversing through the vast edgy terrains on this channel. So, to make sure I don't accidentally slice a wound too deep, Chester is going to help to warn us with this chorus from his seat in heaven every time things get a little too edgy. So, in Sonic Forces, Infinite is the new big bad boy on the block. I mean, he's nowhere near as edgy as Shadow, but boy, you will get cut if you're not careful around this man. Although, if you factor in the power of the Phantom Ruby, Infinite can create and shape an endless number of realities that will make it the type of edgy that teleports behind you and chuckles after saying, "Nothing personal, kid," to any living soul that dares to cross his path. Infinite's tale starts out with him as the leader of a group of mercenaries who are after the many wonders of Eggman's technology. He decides to make a move towards infiltrating Eggman's base at Arsenal Pyramid. As Infinite's crew started attacking Eggman in the middle of his daily tune of crumpets, Eggman discovers the Phantom Ruby and the potential of its abilities. Infinite's attack distraught Eggman, ruining his research, and most importantly, his brunch. Coincidentally, Eggman ended up being able to summon forth an army of robots using the Phantom Ruby's power. Infinite slices through the robots with ease, like some sort of Knight of the Wind, and goes straight for Eggman. Instead of hitting Eggman though, he hits the Phantom Ruby. For some reason, Eggman was using it as a shield, don't know why. But as a result, the Ruby's power triggers, temporarily showing both Infinite and Eggman an alternate reality of completely desolate and scorched earth. Wait a second, what is this? Oh, wait, what? Oh. As Infinite was turned on by the alternate reality of complete destruction, everything's so destroyed. Eggman takes the opportunity to slap Infinite off his Eggmobile. It's so empty. I can't believe this.
What the hell is wrong with you, you bumbling buffoon?
I've never felt this before.
Get the hell off my...
Oh my god. In a complete change of pace, the Doctor decides to recruit Infinite, of all things, giving him a whole sales pitch and everything.
Hey.
What?
You should work for me.
I am not. Wait, what?
You'll get full benefits and a place in the beautiful empire of Eggman once I take over.
With Infinite's mind focused on becoming absolute, he decides to leave his current lifestyle behind and join the glorious empire of Eggman, wanting nothing more than the complete destruction and desolation of society and sustainable life as we know it for no comprehensible reason at all.
You have been hurt by somebody, that much is clear. Who hurt you?
Who the fuck hurt you?
Moving along, recruiting Infinite himself wasn't too hard, but Infinite's squad of jackals weren't easy to convince. Eggman mentions in episode Shadow that he went through great pains to get these mercenaries to do his bidding. Eggman must have ended up giving these boys some big enlistment bonuses and stipends to convince all of them to fight someone as strong as Shadow to the death.
Stupid, you won't even get the chance.
Shadow conquered these mercenaries with ease, comparing them to Cannon Fodder. God damn it, Shadow. when your defense squad needs the defense squad.
Don't show you.
We interrupt this broadcast for an important news flash.
This episode Shadow starts off with Shadow infiltrating one of Eggman's bases. Reports say Shadow gives the Jackal Squad a run for their money as he traverses through the Mystic Jungle. Not much footage of these cheek clappings were discovered, but my team of leading scientists in the film industry were able to recover this footage of Shadow confronting the leader of the Jackal Squad himself as he went through the Mystic Jungle. Here it is.
You destroyed my squad. I'll show you why they call me the ultimate mercenary.
Oops, sorry, it looks like we're having some technical difficulties here, folks. Give me a second here. Oh, okay, here we go. Sounds like Chester was just trying to find his way in.
Perfect. So, from this event, Infinite found himself feeling both irrelevant and worthless. Infinite's biggest characteristic is that he feels, like every other cliche villain, that anyone not strong isn't worth anything, and from his defeat, he found reason to seek a power much stronger than anything he ever could have imagined. Shadow's words to Infinite struck a fury from deep within, and with a little help from Eggman, a new potential for the character was found.
This is just the beginning. Slowly but surely achieving our objective. You can't stop fucking with my ass! Stop fucking with my ass!
So I want to take a moment to pause the story and explain exactly how Infinite's power works here. Infinite's power is based entirely in the Phantom Ruby previously used by classic Eggman in Sonic Mania. Eggman dug the Phantom Ruby off of Azure Island and used its power multiple times to teleport Sonic and his friends around. While also using its power to power up his own robots, his robots eventually go rogue and create their own little clique known as the Hard-Boiled Heavies. They eventually end up clashing swords with Eggman as well as Sonic. So once Eggman and his robots are defeated, in null space, classic Sonic and the Phantom Ruby get teleported into the Forces or modern timeline. Classic gets teleported to Sunset Green Hill Heights City, conveniently as Tails was about to get two-stocked by Chaos. And the Phantom Ruby is teleported to the Forces timeline as well, very conveniently placed on Eggman's doorstep by the way. Eggman finds the Phantom Ruby and starts to examine it moments before Infinite and his squad of Jackals attack. You should know the story from there. Later, Shadow beats the whole squad, leaving Infinite feeling powerless, and as a result, Eggman puts his finalized prototype of the Phantom Ruby on Infinite. Eggman went through many prototypes of the Phantom Ruby, and he knew that two different rubies could cancel each other out. So he sent Infinite out on a mission to destroy all the prototypes, as those would be the only way for the Resistance to gain a power equal to Infinite's. This is where it starts to get shaky. Put on your tinfoil hats, because we're about to start walking into game theory territory.
I'm just saying I have good sources.
A lot of information about the Phantom Ruby is not fully shown or explained. Let's start with what we know. When Tails and Classic Sonic got to Eggman's database in the chemical plant, they discovered the Phantom Ruby's main ability is to feed false information to a person's mind to make them think what they're going through is real. As Tails explains it, a dream so real that when you bump into something, your real self feels it. This is further backed up in episode Shadow, as Infinite creates an alternate reality for Shadow that got kinda creepy due to how Rouge and Omega started acting. Mix that with how Shadow had to constantly dodge attacks from Infinite, so much so that it was surprising to Infinite that Shadow came back alive, or even in one piece. The Ruby gives the holder the ability to manipulate their reality how they see fit. It's very much like the Reality Stone from Marvel, but a better comparison to the Phantom Ruby is almost like a Sharingan of sorts. The reason I say that it's a better comparison is because the use of the Phantom Ruby in Forces and Madara's plan to implement the Infinite Tsukiyomi are almost identical in their practicality. Madara planned to put a special form of the Sharingan on the moon to put the whole world under his control and shape reality as he saw fit. Like Madara, Eggman let Infinite use the Phantom Ruby to do most of the dirty work manipulating things until Eggman realized Infinite wasn't strong enough to conquer Sonic, so he backstabs Infinite so that he can use the Phantom Ruby to control reality and fight Sonic himself. So, to recap, the Phantom Ruby is a gem that can manipulate reality, create objects at will, kill you, burn everything you hold dear, and while you watch helplessly in the corner. It can also call the Doctor, steal his... Wait. Her. It's a she now. Steal her phone booth, start another time war, and create an endless number of useless Zavik clones. Like, seriously, why Zavik?
What is this?
Sometimes I try to do things, and it just doesn't work out the way I want it to, and I get real frustrated.
Infinite started off as a villain that left everyone puzzled. As a completely new character, nobody knew anything about him or why he had access to the Phantom Ruby. Nobody knew that he would eventually be the one to do something that most Sonic villains couldn't even accomplish, which is to actually give Sonic a challenge.
You're too slow!
Granted, not to say Sonic's past opponents were weak, but it's worth noting that they didn't really stand a chance unless they had some sort of super form. Even then, it only took the convenient gathering of the Chaos Emeralds and sometimes a few friends to alleviate the threat. Again, I'm not saying some of these characters weren't strong enough to kill Sonic, but most times it feels like Sonic walks away without a scratch. I mean, Mephiles actually killed him, even if it was a cheap shot, but I mean, I guess I'm going off on a tangent here. Infinite dug his own grave the second he let Sonic live to see another Green Hill Zone, which wasn't just once, but twice, viewing our main character as too irrelevant to finish off himself. So I guess he dug himself 2 graves then. When Sonic finally met Infinite again, it was a short reunion once Null Space was activated and he got sucked into a broken reality full of nothingness with the player's custom avatar being dragged along. Funny enough, it wasn't long until they just did a fitness pacer test out of there. Getting tired of being lectured by Sonic about friends, Eggman and Infinite make a quick tactical retreat with their tails between their legs to catch a resistance in their biggest genjutsu we've ever seen in the Sonic series. Unfortunately for Team Eggman, a member of the Resistance also had the Sharingan, rendering their genjutsu useless. This genjutsu took a lot out of Infinite to create, and you could only imagine the disdain when Infinite found out that the Avatar actually had a Ruby prototype. The failure stood in Infinite's own 2 hands, and the oversight gave the Doctor the initial push he needed to lose hope in Infinite's abilities. Team Eggman didn't hit the bottom yet though. Although Infinite used up most of his power, he still had more than enough juice to take Sonic on and throw a few good roasts in there while he was at it. Unfortunately, the Avatar butts in with some fire of his own, and Infinite stood no chance against the tag team in his weakened state. Eggman took notice of Infinite's weakness and realized it was the perfect time to cut off the dead weight.
Impossible. I cannot be defeated.
Wrong, loser.
No. Wait. I can still fight.
Nobody's too sure what exactly happened to Infinite after that, but if he was sent back to the tower where Infinite held all of his Infinite clones, he might not still be with us. Sonic and the Avatar double boosted through that building so hard it exploded. Although the building itself was still intact, he's most likely gone. But who knows? Death didn't stop Shadow back in Sonic Adventure 2, so there's no telling if our favorite little jackal might just get a revival. In the end, Infinite ended up falling short, coming out as the one too weak to fight. He never got his rematch with Shadow, And if we never see this bad boy again, then I'm at least glad that he happened. Personally, I'm hoping they'll pull a Oob with Infinite and reincarnate him into some recurring character in the series that isn't so edgy and can learn from Sonic and his friends. We'll just have to see what the future holds. Because you know what they say. The more the merrier. This one was definitely a long time coming. I know I made Tales all the way back in October of last year, and it probably felt longer to me than it did to you, because I know I don't have a lot of consistent viewers, but to me this was a really long time. I really didn't want to wait this much time between Tales and Infinite, but I made the decision to just, you know, put Sonic aside in my channel for a while until I felt that it was a better season to talk about him again, and now I feel it's a good season to talk about Sonic again. So, unironically, like this is the perfect time to talk about Zavik, and I was already planning to do Zavik next. Like, to me, it was between Zavik and Knuckles, and then I started writing the script for Zavik, and I just liked it better than what I was writing for Knuckles. So, I'm doing a Zavik video next, and so I don't know how long it'll be until that one comes up, but it definitely shouldn't be that long, because by the time I've already edited this video, the Zavik script is already done and it's just waiting to be edited, and so I'll definitely give you guys an update on that. Again, this has been your boy Nistro here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Signing out.